Right, the mystery continues. Let's get back into it. Welcome to episode 2 of the Stratford UVS mystery. So, for those of you who are unaware, Hitch from UVS set me a challenge of playing 6 degrees of UVS with the Word Stratford. In the last episode, I went through Stratford's connections to multiple medias and how the main thing of significance to come out of Stratford, in my opinion, was Shakespeare. Shakespeare has got a lot of plays and a lot of works that tie into UVS in multiple ways, from a comedy of errors to a lot of his plays interacting with animes such as ReZero, Berserk, even the fact that things like Lion King and stuff like that are inspired by Macbeth, and going even deeper into that, the fact that Shakespeare has himself even made cameos in things like JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, Record of Ragnarok, it's a huge factor, and I think both myself and Hitch in that video learned a lot about Shakespeare's cultural relevance for the last 400 years. So, luckily for me, Hitch kind of saw me looking for a needle in a haystack and was kind of happy that I made the Shakespeare connection, but could see I was at a loss. So he left me a comment on the video, which that basically just went, "Thou art a madman, and well 'tis shown. One step descendeth, 5 yet unknown." Okay, so one step descendeth means I'm one step closer to being right. Shakespeare's on the right lines, and the 5 means that there are 5 more steps to go down. So I don't need to worry too much about making direct comparisons, but I'm still gonna. So let's take a look at that comment. Hitch is a very intelligent person who does a lot of design, he does a lot of narrative writing in his own stead, so knows how to make this story, knows how to make this challenge. "Thou art a madman, and well 'tis shown" has to be from one of the plays. There are 33 plays, so put out like any theorist, what do? We Google it. We put the line in and we Google it, and immediately the thing we get that comes up is the 12th Night. The 12th Night is a lesser known Shakespearean play, still very cool, still very powerful, and still has had its share of cultural introspection and influence. The 12th Night could have its themes, it could be a direct adaptation. There are many ways the 12th Night could lead to UVS news, but this is only step 5. Well, I guess it's only step 4. We go from 6 to 5 to 4. 4 being the 12th Night, and to me, this is online. 12th Night is a very powerful story about twins that are separated during a shipwreck. Viola grieves for her brother. She pretends to be a servant, a butler working under a duke, and it's a love story talking about the folly of grief, love and madness. It's a very topsy-turvy world, and talking about the identity of self, the loss of identity, the beginning of identity, and knowing the self. It's also a story where the fool dictates the story and tries and explains and gives the morals and progresses the story. Kind of how I am the fool here, progressing down this story that Hitch has led for me. There is a direct movie adaptation that came out in 1996 of The 12th Night. I don't think it's anything to that. It's a bit older, it's not got the cultural relevance it needs, and it hasn't had any kind of influences. So, let's get the big one out of the way. I'm big for my wild theories, but seeing as Richard is no longer here to put this forward, and I know there's a lot of people interested, let's get the big fish out of the way. Genshin Impact. Genshin Impact is about twins who are separated through a calamity. You have yourself as the traveler working with powerful entities, powerful deities, dukes, kings, wizards, all sorts of powerful beings to try and track down your brother, find your self of identity because you've lost it, in this topsy-turvy crazy world, it has a lot of the same themes, but as a third step, as our middle point, it doesn't really serve a purpose, and that would be more kind of the finishing point. It has a lot of relations to 12th Night, but if Hitch wanted me to make the connection with Genshin Impact, I don't think he would have started me on Stratford. That's my personal one. ReZero, which I mentioned in the first video, has having links to Midsummer Night's Dream, has also got this topsy-turvy world with the folly of grief, with the fact that Sue has this reborn from death, trying to figure out his true identity, the love and madness of his quest for Emilia, the loss of a twin through catastrophe is very Ram and Rem, and having to work under a duke again lines in with what Subaru's doing. He works under a duke. It's very good, but again, this is kind of an end game, not a mid game connection. We have Ashi no Ko, which is another topsy-turvy world with reincarnation, hidden identity, themes of love and madness, and mistaken and forgotten identities. But again, all these are end goals. These are the last steps. They're not a third level for me. So let's look at one that can link to other things. So let's step away from anime and let's get into a movie I've seen, but I was 17, 18 at the time. I was watching it with my younger brothers, and that is She's the Man. She's the Man is a movie with Viola sharing a name with the main character from the 12th Night. It has her football team dissolved, so we have a shipwreck, a wreck of a crew, and she has to disguise herself as a twin brother to keep playing, leading to this topsy-turvy world as she experiences what it's like to be a man on a man's team, and that kind of new world that she was not expecting. Again, having a lot of the themes going in here, and I'm not the one that made this connection. I have to say, Mike Hardiman helped me get to this connection, and I am also now part of the Shakespeare subreddit, who also pointed out that She's the Man is possibly the best and most faithful adaptation that's inspired by the 12th Night. And this kind of leads me to that third level that we're looking for, because it's a great segue when we look at the cast, when we look at the themes. It links in with the 12th Night, and we go to She's the Man, where we have Channing Tatum being a very big name. We've just had him as Gambit in Deadpool and Wolverine, but we also have Amanda Bynes. And Amanda Bynes is the linchpin. The moment that myself and Mike made the connection to Amanda Bynes, my head flew off. I was like, that's what I needed. Amanda Bynes is an actor who most people should know at this point. Got their start off at Nickelodeon. A lot of TV shows and movies, from things like Big Fat Liar to She's the Man, and starting off on Nickelodeon. Amanda Bynes worked very closely with Nickelodeon through things like The Amanda Show, and even voicing characters on Rugrats with Taffy. And I think that's what leads us into our penultimate step. Our penultimate step is Amanda Bynes. And then that leads us to Nickelodeon being our last step, our 6th degree. We're going from Stratford to Shakespeare to 12th play to She's the Man to Amanda Bynes to Nickelodeon. Now, Nickelodeon has got a lot of IPs under its neck. And one of the big things that clinched it for me, that it's Nickelodeon, is the Content Creator Summit. The logo for the Content Creator Summit looks so Nickelodeon-esque. It looks so Nickelodeon coded with like the splat and the slime and all the media icons coming out from it. It is such a kind of draw away from the usual UVS kind of logo that, to me, I felt it even has to be a tie-in to this, kind of like when we were looking at Attack on Titan and Alex kept putting things like, we have some colossal reveals for you, leading into Attack on Titan for months. I think that content creator logo was another hint that Nickelodeon is the direction I should be looking at. And there's so many different options. We could get a full Nicktoon set. We could have the direct link to Rugrats. And with things like SpongeBob SquarePants having his secret layer in MTG, Magic the Gathering has also picked up Avatar Last Airbender, and we have shared IPs with them before. We've picked up Godzilla. We've got Critical, and they've got D&D, which have very similar stories and IPs, but I personally think Critical Role have taken it and made it their own. I want it to be Avatar purely because there is a brand new Avatar series coming called Seven Haven. Having 3 sets of Avatar Last Airbender, start off with The Last Airbender, moving into Legend of Korra, ending with Seven Haven, would be absolutely amazing. We've got these attune cards now that we can put in for simple pure airbending moves, for pure firebending, for pure earthbending. We'd have the 4 set symbols, and then we can also then move into the cross bendings. We can have earth and fire attuned for lava bending. We can get a bit more in the aspects of what we're seeing in for the other forms of bending that we've seen. We can even move into some of the more evil sides of it, like there's the villain in The Legend of Korra, whose entire airbending fighting technique is to suck the air out of your lungs, and that is a death air void character if I've ever seen one, because they're killing you by voiding you of air. I could go into this for absolutely ages, and with Seventh Haven on the way, it makes a lot of sense. With the promise being adapted, with all this new stuff coming, end of 2026, early 2027, we could see an Avatar year. As much as I want to see more Critical Role, Avatar would be a great one to pick up. Another 3-set series, and the fact it has those great fights, the fact it has such action, such great art style, the fact that it kind of feeds into that nostalgia whilst also picking up on the new people coming in is kind of what we're already capturing in TMNT. We're going to get the old Avatar fans, the mid-Avatar, not the mid, we're going to get the old Avatar fans, the more recent Avatar fans with Korra, and we're going to get the Seventh Haven fans. That's an absolute slam dunk. So the logical side of my brain is going, it's an Avatar Last Airbender set. We go from Nickelodeon to Avatar Last Airbender, and we're smashed in there. The other thing would be one that I kind of mentioned I would have loved to have seen is a kind of, when we picked up Joker, was a Hanna-Barbera kind of stuff, and then when we picked up Star Trek, I said, what if we got a Nicktoons? What if we got Jimmy Neutron, Fairly Odd Parents? We got all these Nicktoon IPs and we put them in a set, and we had this mashup like what Nickelodeon used to do. There are loads of different ways to go from here. We can get even more TMNT in there. We can get a lot more stuff. And with the ties to Paramount and the fact that they control the Nickelodeon kind of output, it's just further proof that I think I'm on the right lines here. I think Nickelodeon is the tie-in, and I think Avatar The Last Airbender, Legend of Korra, and Seven Havens are coming to this game, and I am so hyped for this. If it isn't that, it's more of a nostalgia IP coming in, which would just be as cool. Mainly because if we get things like Fairly Odd Parents coming in, we can get some more spell support. If we get Jimmy Neutron stuff, we get the tech and inventor support. There's so many different lines to go down here. I'm kind of at the same area I was with Shakespeare, but rather than being stuck on like the first step towards the 6, I think Nickelodeon is the focal point. Nickelodeon is the last thing I was supposed to get to. And now they have so many IPs. They have so many cartoon shows under their belt that we could adapt. I 100% think it's that. But I was never meant to find the right answer because there's too many of them. I was supposed to get to Nickelodeon, and I have. But I think Avatar Last Airbender is the best thing to put my money on, purely because of what's coming, how popular it is, and knowing how UVS data mines and data scrapes through things like Reddit and other areas. Avatar Last Airbender is always popular. if I am close, Hitch, do let me know. But I would love to get another cryptic clue as to where I should go from here. Or if I am very, very close, I understand if you can't go into it anymore because it starts to make it too obvious. But I think Nickelodeon is the IP to go in. It's going to be a Nicktoon mashup set as kind of my more stable thinking, and my logical passion side is saying this is going to be an Avatar The Last Airbender set, which is going to feature Aang, Korra, and the Seven Havens, and it's going to be an absolutely intense, beautifully done set. If we think that the creative team were able to cook with Critical Role, think about how they're going to be able to implement the nation's identities, the firebending, the bending identities into our cards. We could end up with some of the most beautiful cards we've ever had, and getting alternate arts and these foils and these chromes with such love and detail and expansion. Every single set we see the alternate arts, the chromes, everything getting better. And by the time we get to the Nickelodeon Avatar set, we are going to be at almost a singularity of design. Let me know what you guys think. Is there any situations I missed? Are there any things that would click, or is Amanda Bynes or Channing Tatum known for something even better, which could link into a new conclusion? Let me know in the comments below. I had a lot of fun deep diving into this, and I will catch you all in the next one, if there is a next one, and I will see you all at game night. For now, yip yip.